What's happening, everybody? Welcome back to the Funky Brain Podcast. My name is Dennis, and this is my Funky Brain. And I have another Funky Brain. Well, actually, a guy who works with Funky Brains on the show today. We're going to meet him in a second. He's the co-founder of Mentality. It's basically a proactive approach to mental health that gives people the tools to create lasting change. Mr. Sam Church, how are you doing today, sir?
Very good, Dennis. How are you? Thank you for inviting me on to your Funky Brain podcast. I'm really excited to be on here and just divulge into this world that we work in and what we're trying to do and help, So it's a privilege to be on here. Thank you for asking.
Yeah, a privilege for me too. And now it's such a great time. What I do, I focus a lot on the addiction recovery side. You're on both sides with the mental health and addictions and stuff. And in this crazy world of 2020, everybody needs a little bit of mental health help.
What's been going on needs no explanation, but the fallout from it, just in addiction and picking on alcohol. I think I was reading a statistic that like call centers, the volume of calls coming into them has gone up 30% in the UK alone. Just because people have been stuck at home, stuck with their own thoughts.
The worst place in the world to be is stuck at home with your own thoughts and no tools to work with that, right?
Yeah, exactly. No access to people, and that's a massive thing when you lose that purpose and connection with the outside world and what you do on a daily basis. What if your purpose was in your job? And that was your main thing, and that's been taken away. It's, well, what do I do now? And if your default is to drink or do whatever, you're going to do more and more of it if you're just stuck in your own head at home, like you say. It's frightening.
There are so many tools available, and so many people don't really know what they are. And when you say drinking, alcohol, it could be alcohol, or it could be drugs, or it could be food or porn, or you could just get into whatever it is that distracts you from thinking and just keep spinning and going deeper down into the rabbit hole.
100%.
Yeah, I'm sure you're getting lots of calls. So tell me a little bit about you and your story and what got you into this field and this awesome business that you started. Tell us about that too. Just tell us about Sam Church.
Yeah. So, Sam Church. I live in London. I'm 35-year-old lad. Everything's all right today, but it's not always been that way for me. If we touch on my childhood and things like that, that was perfectly normal. A mum and dad, no separations, a younger brother, no big traumas. School was going fine. The world of sport was serving me well, accomplished things in that. But then I never did really felt like I fitted in though. As I got into my late teens, started isolating a bit more, started doing my own thing, started pushing people away, then started working. My friends left for university. I didn't want to do that. I was too good for university, of course. I was already smart enough. So I got a job, but I also discovered, the pub at that point at the age of 18. And from the get-go, I drank alcoholically. I brushed it off at the time, if I'm honest, Dennis. I was a young lad. I was with the guys. We're allowed to do that, and it was okay. So, but it got worse and worse and worse. And as I drank more, I just got more and more isolated with it. The fun sort of stopped. Yeah, it wasn't party time anymore. It wasn't just going to the pub. It was in the morning on my own. In the end. So that sort of fell off a cliff. Then eventually the drink did stop working. So we've just mentioned there, we do things to take ourselves outside of our own thoughts and head. And then when that stops working, it becomes really, really scary, because then you're like, damn it, well, what do I do now? The only medicine and way out that I thought that I had is now stopped working. So that was the real latter end. And, in between all of that, I got married. I had 2 children. I always kept up a good job in a professional corporate environment, done really well at it. But I was just going around with this huge cape and mask on and just covering it up. And I thought I was great at hiding it. Some people, it was just so obvious, man. But you know, a lot of the time it was, myself, my drinks, my own thoughts, doing my own things, and that wound up in the end. And I've just cut 20 years story quite short there, but
Right, that's okay.
in the end, it left me. And I remember the 2nd of February, a couple of years ago, face down in the snow, thinking, this is it. I can't see a way of living anymore. I want to die. If I lie here long enough in the snow, in the freezing cold, been mugged, lost everything, 20 miles from home, 25 kilometers for you guys, roughly. And thinking that's it. You know, I just want to die. Fortunately for me, or unfortunately, I thought at the time, a passerby in a car out of nowhere, 4 a.m., you know, got out of the car, are you okay? Clearly I wasn't. And he gave me a lift home that night, and he got me back. And then a couple of days later is when I started my recovery process. But, you know, that's why I've now started the business that is Mentality, to try and give people and individuals the tools they need, hopefully, so they don't get to that point, you know, because I just was thinking back when I was 24, I should have, that was the giving up point then. I had a few rock bottoms at the age of 24, you know. But if I knew then what I knew now, had been presented with, you know, podcasts like this, the tools that we now teach, I might have stood a bit more of a chance than 10 more years of pain, you know. But that being said, I believe I'm on a path. I've got, you know, it's set out and it is what it is. But maybe, just maybe, if I'd been given those tools, I might have started this journey a bit quicker and saved myself and a lot of other people a lot of heartache. So, yeah, that's 20 years in about 2 minutes there, Dennis. So
That's good. I mean, like the main point of that is just to like basically qualify yourself. When somebody turns on this show or any podcast, any show, whatever it is, and they see a couple of clear-headed people smiling and telling stories and, you know,
yeah,
successful and like life is going well, and these people are like hurting and they're like, that's bullshit. I don't think I could be like that. But then they, you know, they need to hear these stories. They've heard my story, so I don't tell it as much anymore. But they need to hear the stories about like what's possible. Because when you, especially now, we were talking when we started the show, it's like things are rough for a lot of people. And then you feel hopeless and that there's no way out. Like we're never going to get through this, but it's not true. And then that's why the main reason I originally reached out to you was the mentality thing. It's focusing on the mental health. You know, a lot of people, and especially people that are listening that are really suffering from some sort of addiction or alcoholism or whatever, they think that if I just stop drinking or smoking or doing whatever my drug is, then life just unfolds and it's perfect. But we need to work on this. Thus the name of the Funky Brain podcast. My funky brain, it's the source of all my problems, right? So my drinking, my drugs, my eating, my whatever I do to distract myself from thinking, that's not my problem. This is my problem. So I love what you do, mentality. Let's talk about mentality. How do we work on our mental health?
Mentality works in two folds. So one, the corporate environment where we have a set of modules, which we've broken down mental health into topics that we would go in and speak on and teach on and get companies engaging. The reason why we do that is because we can get to the masses on a quicker scale. So we would, you know, one example would be we do a module on stress, anxiety and depression, and what that is fundamentally to start off with, and then what you can do, that bit in between. It takes you from, like you just saying, you can see two clear-headed guys talking right now, but there's a journey. There's a bit of how are they doing that, how are they sorting that out, and that's what we teach on. And there's other parts of the module with, you know, the impact that being fit and nutrition and sleep, for example, the impact that has on your mental health. You know, sleep is a superpower. and it's so forgotten that a full night's sleep. I didn't sleep for 16 years. I say I didn't sleep. I was in a bed, but it might have been 4 or 5 hours of just lied there semi-unconscious. It wasn't a good night's sleep, you know, and that has an impact. You wake up tired. You're less likely to cook something a bit healthier. So you stop at, fast food on the way to work. You eat that. Then because you've eaten something bad, well, I'm not going to go to the gym later. And around you go. And that was a cycle I had every single day. So, and another module we would speak on is, getting away from a fixed mindset to a growth mindset, and the power of that, and resilience, and what resilience look like, what resilient people do. And all of this is through our experiences. So this is not made up. It's not out of a textbook anywhere. We're not experts. I suppose we're experts in our own recovery and how we got there. But, those experiences and how we've come out the other side, and actually telling that in an engaging way does help. So we got that. That's one side for the corporate world. And then in lockdown, we actually did this because we was like, right, we can't get into these companies. How can we still get out there? So we started building an online platform, which is 100% free, because we believe no individual should pay to live a healthier, happier life. So what way we do it is we get lots of different experts, and we've broken it down into different categories. So we've got the body, the mind, we've got some life stories in there. We've got mindset. So within the body, for example, we would have a chef, a nutritionist, a fitness instructor, a yoga instructor, all of these different things that you can do, broken down, put on in a simple way, and we film the content. And the reason why we do that is because I knew all of this stuff when I wasn't in a great place. I knew that I should exercise more. I knew that I should drink more water. I knew that I should eat better. But again, it triggers the question, well, how? And I'm fundamentally lazy as well. So I didn't really want to go and find out. And if I did go on YouTube, there's too much stuff. So I just got distracted. So what we try to do is put all this in one place and go, well, actually, here's 5 healthy meals for this week. We've printed off a fridge list. We've printed off a journal to you to track it. Here's a 2-minute video of how to cook it. Now, this is not brand new stuff. It's just that we've put this all in one place. And here you can go and get your yoga kick at the end of the day. And then if you want to go further on your journey with that, you can get in touch with that expert directly and make that your thing. So we give you a good flavor of it. And then if you want to go on a yoga journey, a CrossFit journey, or a specific mindset coach's journey, hers details will all be on there, and go and fill your boots. We're not going to sort of sit there in the middle and keep you there. It's just a platform that if you're not well, it's all there in one place. You can access it. If money's the problem, it's free. Because if it was like me, I was spending all my money on drink and drugs. So I didn't have any cash for a £100, $200 an hour psychiatrist or whatever it would have be that I needed. It's here, it's free. We're giving it away. And it acts as a bit of an ongoing support as well to the corporate guys. So if you like what we're talking with nutrition, go and fill your boots with the nutritionist on our platform, follow it up however you want. So that's mentality, again, in about 2 minutes. So it's giving the tools to create lasting change, for free on our platform. And so people can live a healthier, happier life. Why should people be deprived of that? Let's not make it confusing. Let's not over elaborate it, and let's not fluff it up as well. It's just, this is what it is. This is what you can do. I can't force you to do it, but if there's enough attraction in there, then you might want some of it. That's the ethos. That's what we're trying to get out there. And so far, so good.
I love it, man. That's so awesome. We say in the world of recovery, it's like you only have to change one thing, and that's everything. Yeah. Right? We just have to change that one thing, and that's everything, because the way that I was living, the way that I was doing my life wasn't working. And then so we have to work on our body, our mind, our spirit. First, we need to take away like the harmful behavior, and then we have a chance. Then we can do all these other things. But I love the way that you have everything there, because it's like, I don't know how to do these things. And unless it's like, mapped out for me, I'm probably not going to get them done. Same thing as you were talking about. Oh, I go on YouTube, but there's too many, so I get distracted, and then I don't do anything because it's overwhelming. So I love how you really just map that out, and you're like, well, we have to work on our diet, which I agree is a huge piece that people don't think about in recovery, right? Like,
Yeah.
I need to eat well. And when I eat well and I exercise, because our body is this like machine, I need to take care of that machine, keep it well oiled and keep it moving so I can go do whatever my goals are that I want to do.
Yeah, and this is the thing. It's endless what we can produce with this platform, because there's endless amounts of experts, you know, and there's endless amounts of types of fitness. And this is what we're trying to cover. What might be right for an 18-year-old lad that wants to, you know, do boxing training and get fit might not be the same thing for a 60-year-old guy who has never moved before or something like that. So we're trying to cater for everybody, you know, and this is why I'm encouraging, if you feel like you're an expert in something you do, you have something that can help people, then speak to us, because we want to feature on our platform, which is quite a cool thing for these experts. If we have a platform and it's 100% free and we can build an army of people, an army of guys wanting to come on here, then hopefully we can get more experts wanting to come on with us. So I'm kind of thinking it's win-win for everybody.
Oh, it totally is. Yeah, I don't see a downside. I want to be on there. I'm a coach. You know, I do all that.
100%, 100%, Dennis. We'd love to have you on.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's incredible. Are you measuring success rates at all? Is there a way to do that? Or I'm assuming it's going well.
Measuring whether it's working or not, what we can easily measure is, you know, number of subscribers for
Sure.
one, number of most watched, most liked, most interacted pieces of content that are on there. For example, the first week we opened, we got like 1,000 views on our platform, zero advertising, just a few bits and pieces, which was great for us. We never thought we'd get one, you know.
Yeah.
We you know, I'm full of self-doubt at times as well. It's like, why would anyone want to do this, you know? But you know, we have community groups within our Facebook pages, and where people are now joining at a rapid rate and in talking to each other. And as well with the corporate pathway, and why we do it over 5 modules that could be done over 5 weeks or 5 months. 5 months is a nice time because you can see progress that way. If I saw Dennis once a month for 5 months, and each time actually, well, we did mindset on the first month, and actually Dennis has gone away and he's actually implemented a couple of things into his life, and he's come back a month later going, do you know what? That's actually worked, mate, for me. I'm keen to have a bit more. And on the flip side as well, if, do you know what, that wasn't right for me, you know, we'd like to see more of that. We're open book. There's not, you know, a silver bullet with what we teach. There's more avenues, and it's always evolving. And that's why we try and do it over a sustained period of time. It's not like, yeah, one night that's worked for me, I'm okay now. It's trying to do it, and this is why I talk about like a New Year's resolution, you know, and this is why most of them fail. It's because, one, we're told to do them because it's the new year, and it's like everyone gets a resolution, right? Everyone joins a gym because everyone else does. There's not an intrinsic motive to do it, and you get bored of that. I did every single year. I'd give up by the 15th of Jan, something like that. All the kit, because I'm an addict, I go and buy all the stuff straight away, you know. and then it fails. So, you know, this intrinsic value of come on there for a reason. The guys that are signing up, they're there for a reason. They want to improve their lives. So, and then to keep them there, and their engagement through messaging, and like say for the corporate company, seeing the whites of their eyes. So short answer to your question, you know, it's a tricky one to measure success, other than people telling me that it is working. And so far, so good. We've not had a bad word yet, which is positive. We've just sort of had, could we have that? Could we have more of that? And there's only me and Lee at the minute, my co-founder. So we're trying to get around as much as we possibly can. But yeah, time will tell. But yeah, so far so good, and it's been well received.
Awesome. I'm so happy to hear it because it's such a brilliant concept. And I'm surprised that people haven't come up with it yet.
I was amazed as much as you are, Dennis, because I looked around, and naturally when starting anything, you do a bit of research. What is there else on the market? Is there anything close? Is anyone else I can might do a bit better and things like that? The closest thing I could find was you might get a fitness and nutrition, and you might get an app, but you're going to have to pay for it. And that's the fundamental difference. Is the majority can't resist charging for an online platform. It'd be too easy for me to charge £10 a month for this stuff, and I won't.
Right.
Never. And this is not free for now. Subscribe and put your card details in. This is 100% free forever. That's, I think, the difference. What very few others will do.
Yeah, I think that is a big difference. That's that altruistic, movement happening there. And I think that that's a huge draw to a lot of people. And that's why you're going to become successful, is because there's no expectations. We're just doing this. Like, that's why I do the podcast. It's like, I really just want to, if we can help people, because the two of us know what it's like to be beaten down and hopeless and helpless and don't know where to turn. So if we can save somebody, for me, it was like 15 years of that. If I can cut that down 14 years for somebody, then that's why I do this.
And that's what sets, like your podcast and mentality. That's what makes it different to the normal type of business. That motive for doing it is so intrinsic to you and myself, and so quite painful. The experience that can never be taken away by anybody. And that's what fuels this every single day. If just one person does something to save their life, improve their lives, then we're winning,
Yeah. Keep one person from killing themselves or wanting to kill themselves or being depressed or just, having to go to that dreaded rock bottom that we all talk about. You don't have to go down there.
No.
You don't have to. There's so many different ways to reach people now with all the technology and everything that's available. There's more opportunity. If you think back to think about we're in this pandemic that we're in, with the quarantine. The last one was in 1918. There was no Zoom. We didn't have iPhones to talk to people. It's like, we're not going to go out today because we might get this thing and die. So we're going to stay in this little shack somewhere for a year.
Yeah.
We don't have it as bad as they did back then, and there's so many resources available. So if we can reach these people that are suffering, and we can, because they all, no matter how broke and sad and sick you are, you still have an iPhone, right? So
yeah, thank God for Zoom and Skype and all of the other ways to communicate, because that was the only way. It's still the only way. If you're stuck in your house, but use it to its fullest. Use it in a productive way. If you're sat at home and you've lost your job, and easier said than done, learn something, do something new. We I don't know about you, Dennis, but for years I just craved, if only I had a couple of months time, I could get all of these things done.
That's exactly right.
All undivided attention, where I didn't have to go to work and do this, do that, whatever it was. And now the minute everyone's wish was granted, I'm stuck at home. This is a nightmare. And it's actually, a lot of people have been wishing for this for many, many years. And this is the difference with, that growth mindset and wanting to do something, be hungry, get better, improve, and all the rest of it is actually, I noticed the guys and girls that have utilized this time to the absolute max. And they're like, I love quarantine. Absolutely loved it. I was gutted when I had to go back to work.
Perspective is everything, right?
Perspective is everything. And this is the fundamental difference between someone that's, resilient and not. People that are not, the same events happen to the same two people, right? And both are reacting in different ways. It'd be great to get to that person that is resilient. And, by listening to people like yourself, listening to your podcasts, being taught by you, being coached by you, and other tools that are out there, you can achieve that. It's not this fluffy thing that's miles away. It's available to anyone. Anyone can go and get it if they want it.
Yeah. And I remember when this pandemic stuff and the quarantine stuff started. So that would have been well, in the States here it was like March, but it happened in Italy first. And we all know this stuff. But there was an interview that I watched, and this was still, so this here everybody was still skeptical, and like nobody really knew what was going on yet. But there was this interview with this guy in Italy where, and everybody knows it hit hard there first, all the deaths, all the problems. And this guy was on this interview, and he goes, look, you're about to go into this quarantine, but use this time, for everything you just said. He's like, use this time to do something you've always wanted to do, something you always wanted to learn, a book you always wanted to read. If you wanted to learn how to dance, like use this time to do something you've never done before or wanted to do, because otherwise you're going to get caught up in the sadness and the depression and the blame and the complaining and accusing all of your, blaming somebody else for all of your shortcomings and your failures, and poor me being stuck in quarantine. Use this time to grow, because soon enough, like what you said, you're going to have to go back to work and sit in traffic and get, you're going to wish that you used this time to grow and do something. You're like, damn, if only I had 3 months again.
You'll never get gifted this again. Well, hopefully not. But it's a rare occasion. It's happened. We're still in it. And if anyone's listening to this right now, it's not too late. Go and do something. And this is not preaching, but it's out there. And it's really just want to hope to and try and inspire people to get on board with that way of living. And like you say, it's a dangerous spiral to get into with poor me and that pity mode and blaming everyone else outside and every other country for starting coronavirus or whatever it may be. It is what it is. Let's get on with it.
Just do it. Just like take control of your life right now. And go visit Mentality. How do we get to that website? What is it?
Yeah, so the website is www.mentalitytheofficial.com and Instagram mentality.theofficial.com, and it's the same for Facebook and LinkedIn and YouTube now as well.
Yeah, awesome stuff. Like go there and learn something new. And in my coaching, the idea is to become independent. Like I use the drugs, the alcohol, the food, whatever it is, to numb out and not have to feel. I could sit here and tell you do this or whatever, but I don't do that with my clients. I ask a lot of questions and I get them to find the answers themselves. And I tell people to go on and Google it. When they ask me, what's the answer to this? How do I do this? Google it. There's an answer on Google or YouTube or on Mentality. And so go to the site and learn how to do these things by yourself. Because if I tell you how to find the answer, then you're going to become dependent on me telling you the answer all the time. You're not going to grow and learn and figure out how to do things by yourself. So I rarely give answers to anybody.
And this is the thing, like what you do, like what we're doing. It's giving people the tools to actually live their own lives again. I don't know about yourself, Dennis. I couldn't tie my own shoelaces for many years. I was completely and utterly useless. I couldn't organize things. I couldn't pay bills on time. I couldn't get anywhere on time and all the rest of it. So actually, this gives me discipline as well and structure and being able to think for myself like an adult. But it's and this is the exciting thing about it. It's a way of living. It's a cool way of living as well. One that takes you further away from poor mental health, being depressed, being stressed, being lonely, being anxious, and all of the bad things and addiction, and all of it can get away from it.
And just keep learning and keep growing. Like we talk about like the magic pill. I was just talking about this with a client yesterday. We all want that magic pill. Like things aren't going well. I drink too much. I smoke too much. I don't make enough. My relationship sucks. Whatever your thing is. If only there was this magic pill to fix what I'm going through, everything would be better. But that's not true. you know what happens is like, even if there was that magic pill, you wouldn't want it. You know why? Because I'm going to give you that pill, and then whatever you're suffering from may or may not like be awesome the next day. But you know what's going to happen? Whatever you're going through, you're going to go through it again at some point. You know, so whatever problem we think we're having, it's all part of the human condition. We all get into like tough spots in our relationships, financially, health problems, fill in the blank, right? And if you don't learn how to get through that, then when it happens again next month or in 5 years or 10 years, you're not going to know how to get through it then either, right? So we want to learn and grow along the way. And then we do it by reaching out, learning new ways to take care of ourselves. And then we become successful.
Exactly that. And this is the thing. Everything in my life around me, you know, the house was the same, the job's the same, the people are the same, my friends are the same. When I wasn't at my best, I thought it was all rubbish and it was useless. That stuff's still the same. I've changed. And it's actually everyone's fantastic. I've been to the same place on holiday, one when I was, you know, under the influence and in a bad spot, and once when I'm feeling a lot better. I hated it. There's that place. I'm not going to name it, but I went back to the same place and it was fantastic. Nothing changed except for me, you know. So that magic pill, you know, if you would have given it to me, you know, when I weren't great, I would have still wanted more. It's like, you could give me £1 million, I want 1,000,001. It's like you're bang on with what you're saying there, Dennis.
Yeah,
bang
I mean,
on.
it's just it's about, you know, being grateful for what you have, you know, and along those lines, I want to share. So, you know, I don't just tell people to do stuff and you're going to feel better. I do it too. You know, I read, I write every morning. I read, I write, I meditate, I exercise. That's how, I mean, people are like, well, how do you do it? Well, I read, I write, I meditate, and I exercise every day. And then, that's not going to work. But that's the solution. Like I'm trying to tell it to you. People are like, well, where's the pill? Where's the magic pill? But this morning, I want to share in my, because I'm sharing this. I had like 4 clients today and this podcast, and I'm sharing this with everybody I run into, so you get to hear it. So this was when I was doing my meditation this morning. I came to these realizations, you know, and it's like part of what I do also is, you know, affirmations. But real affirmations with passion and feeling, not just like the, you know, gosh darn it, people like me stuff. Real affirmations about your life and about yourself, and gratitude, of course, right? So I'm capable and worthy of having all the success and love in the world, right? So I wrote that down. But then I was going deeper into my meditation, and then I realized the truth. The truth is that I already have all the success and all of the love in the world. I just need to access it and tap into it every day.
So true. I love all of that. And like you just said, when people go, well, it's all right for Dennis because he can have time to meditate and do his gratitude journal and this, and this. When's he got time to work? Well, actually, you know, and I worked this out. How many hours in a day did you go around feeling sorry for yourself, doing whatever you was doing? I guarantee you it far outweighed Dennis's morning routine in the mornings in doing that. And that snapshot in time in the morning, just a few eggs, a bit of meditation and a pen and paper, write down his gratitude list to make yourself feel better. What's that, an hour max? You know, in the mornings,
max.
Absolute max. And that, you know, that's the myth buster right there. It's not 8 hours of meditative yoga at all. Meditation is / reflection, just sitting down longer and thinking about something a bit more deeper. That's meditation, really. And I'm trying not to. It's not just someone sat there getting and all the rest of it. It doesn't need to be.
It can be that, but it doesn't need to be at all. Yeah,
it doesn't need to be, and that's where I've had to start. But I didn't have the discipline for, you know, like a monk. I'm not there. I'm nowhere near there. But what I do for 5-10 minutes in its replacement is, like yourself, it really does work. It starts a day in, and I love what you said around, you know, we already have it. It's already laid around us. We just don't know it. We've just not accessed it. And it's, you know, the minute that dawns on us, that thought where it actually, I have got all of this, you know, you're a lot happier than before you realized it. And that's that's the power of a gratitude list as well, you know.
I tell people about meditating because, and I'm sure that you've run into this too. As soon as I bring up the word meditation, it's always the exact same response. And I don't know what you hear, but it'll be some version of this. I can't quiet my mind that long, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, when I say meditation, like, well, Wayne Dyer, he said the best thing. He's like, there's no such thing as a bad meditation. I love when he said that. And I tell people that all the time. The answers come in the silence, you know, or the stillness. You know, there's guided meditations. That's really great too. But I tell people, you don't have to like put on a robe and go sit in a cave in the Himalayas for 3 months to meditate. You know, you can go sit on the toilet for 3 minutes and meditate in the middle of your day. If you're having a shitty day, you don't have to wait till tomorrow to start your day over. Start it over right now. Go sit on the toilet for 3 minutes and just calm down. That's a meditation. The toilet meditation. You know, and then there's
that's the thing. I've done that. I confess. Hold my hands up. It's a timeout, just wherever it can be, a quiet place. Sit there, get your thoughts together, 2-3 minutes, and boom, back in the game. Yeah, and like you say, it's I'll sort that out tomorrow. I'll do that then. I'll start tomorrow. Why waste half a day?
That's right. Start right now. Yeah, I know what I tell people is like, you know, there's the quiet meditations. And I used to, early in sobriety, which was a long time ago now, but I used to go do these I used to go to a Buddhist temple, which was near where I live. And I would do these like 1 or 2 hour meditations and silent, sitting still, not even scratching my nose if I had an itch, just silent meditation. But I'm a little crazy. So, you know, I tell people now, I'm like, don't do that, because if you do that, you're never going to meditate again. Right. So I tell people, pull up YouTube and type in, you know, all right, let's say I have 10 minutes here, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Or say, let's type in 10-minute guided meditation, beach. I like the beach, but maybe you like the sounds of birds or raindrops. Type in 10-minute guided meditation, beach, and just sit still for 10 minutes. You know, it'll change your whole day. It'll change your whole life and your outlook on life.
100%. I couldn't agree with you more. And that's how I started getting into it. It was like, okay, I'm going to do this, you know, 3 minutes was where I was starting. 3-minute guided stuff, beach as well. And that was it. And it's a great journey to get on as well, actually.
Yeah. And then you talk about how do I become positive? Well, stop thinking all the negative thoughts. Well, how do I do that? Well, we just told you how to do that. That people get stuck in like how difficult all this stuff is. It's really not. It's just a matter of making a start. And I'm so happy that you were here today to help us make a start.
Thank you very much. It's been great. I love talking about this stuff as well. It's fantastic.
Well, we'll do it again sometime.
Yeah, no, definitely. And we'll get you on the platform as an expert. That'd be great, Dennis. Would love that.
Awesome. So once again, let's go over how to get in touch with you, Sam Church, Mentality, all that stuff.
Yeah, so you can find our website at www.mentalitytheofficial.com. Instagram is where we get quite a bit of content going, which is mentality.theofficial. Facebook is the same. So is LinkedIn. And as simple as that. And if you Google my name, you'll probably find it.
Right on. And that's Sam Church. Sam, I love you, man. I'm so grateful that you came on today. I appreciate your time.
Likewise, Dennis. Thank you very much.
Yeah, we'll talk to you soon. And thanks, everybody, for tuning into the Funky Brain Podcast. Have a great day today, unless you have other plans. So you can't think your way into a new way of acting. You have to act your way into a new way of thinking and being. Hi, I'm Dennis Berry, best-selling author, speaker, and life coach for addiction recovery. So many people are stuck in their addiction, whether it's like drugs or alcohol or food or shopping or sex or money, and they think they can just stop or try to figure it out on their own, but they don't change anything in their lives. Nothing changes if nothing changes. In order for change to happen, you have to change something. My clients will be like, oh, I'll stop tomorrow, or if this happens, then I stop, or someday I'll just give it up. And then they just sit around and think, and hope for different or better results, but it doesn't happen. You have to take action. Action most people aren't willing to take. People don't become willing until they're in enough pain, me included. And unfortunately, they wait and they wait. And time passes by. Even if you are willing, you don't even know where to begin. And that's where I come in. In my best-selling book, Funky Wisdom, A Practical Guide to Life, I talk about the how approach. How do I get sober? How do I stop doing drugs? How do I become healthier? How do I have more successful relationships? How do I become more financially successful? And the answer is how. Honesty, open-mindedness, and willingness. I have to honestly admit that there's a problem. I have to honestly admit that things aren't going well and there needs to be changes. And then once I do that, the door opens and I become open to seeing new ways of living. And then I become willing to make those changes. You can't solve a problem with the same mind that created it. That's why I'm here to help. And, you know, I've been working with clients for over 15 years and helping them get clean and sober and change their lives and achieve inner peace and success. If you or somebody you love is struggling and doesn't know where to begin and how to make those changes to get to where they need to be, give me a call. Not tomorrow or in a week from now when you're hungover and your life is falling apart. Call now. Start making that change today, and you'll be glad that you did. I'm sending you love and good vibes. Have a great day today.